Right. I'm not entirely sure what kind of state this broadcast will be in, considering that we've just updated our internet, which means the signal could be okay, could be not okay. I do know that I needed to reset the router at some point, but hopefully it's a decent enough picture and you get the idea. Hopefully as well, moving forward, the quality will be a little bit better as well, because we've upgraded our broadcast tier on my service provider. So hopefully the speed's a little bit better, and that'll hopefully improve the speed as well. Okay. If you're seeing this, you've got a notification through. We're running a little bit late with actually getting the broadcast out there, but I'll explain why. This isn't going to be a full show, not for today. A couple of people joining us already. Say hi in the comments. Let us know where you are and what you're up to. But this is just a quick one to explain why we're not having a Talkin Con for today. Two reasons. Number one, I've got some work commitments. I've got some stuff I need to get done for work for tomorrow, which means I'm going to have to focus on that and get that done this evening before I head to bed. And that also means that I'm heading to bed pretty early because I'm up at 4 to get to work. So, not missing the Avengers poster. It's there. I ain't taking it down. I ain't going to go anywhere anytime soon. If I ever change the background or if I change a layout or something, that will always be there. The Scotty Young will always be in sight. But anyway, yes, it's going to be more a case of I'm just tied up. I cannot do today's show. Also, the fact that I had about 3 or 4 people lined up that were going to be talking to us about MCM that was taking place this weekend down in London at the Excel Centre. It's the first MCM Repop show back. So I wanted to find out how things had gone, how the MCM Repop preparations had gone, especially when it came to COVID. If you are keeping an eye on such things here in the UK, the numbers are interesting, because at the end of the day, we're looking at the same, if not higher, cases and hospitalizations here in the UK as we did the same time last year. However, what with the vaccination program rolling out, the death rate is much reduced. People are recovering faster. And at the end of the day, that's what the vaccination is for. It's not for you to not catch COVID. It's for you to fight the effects of COVID more efficiently. So the panic here in the UK is not as intense as it was last year. And not only that, but I think there is also this real kind of general societal head in the sand. Let's just get through this. That it's not happening. It's not happening. There's a little bit of head in the sand. But it is the reason why I still wear my mask. I still do what I do to protect myself and other people. But you can understand why I'm still interested in the numbers and also the infection rates, because at the other end of the day, there are people that aren't vaccinated, and conventions are mass events. People are coming together. So that's why I'm always interested. At the end of the day, though, you can understand why people are wanting to move forward. They're not wanting COVID to run their lives. I think in a realistic, mature way, we should incorporate. It should be part of our daily routine now. That's how it should be, but that's where we are. In that regard, I do know that there's been 1 or 2 things in terms of the way that MCM are unloading today. So they're taking their time, they're being a little bit more cautious, and people packing down at MCM has meant that the couple of guests that I wanted to speak to are not available. They're still in the Excel Centre and they're still packing down. So we can appreciate that that particular element of the show wasn't going to move ahead. So what I've decided is we're going to postpone for today. We're not going to do today's show, but we are going to do a show on Wednesday. We're going to do a midweek thing. It's going to be at the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. But it is going to be on Wednesday, which is the 25th, 6th, 7th, 27th. So hopefully you can join us for that. We're going to try and get a couple of guests lined up. Those that were actually there at MCM Comic Con, like to try and get the likes of, well, there's a whole bunch. Joe Glass, I'd like to get on. I'd like to get Kevin Scott, maybe. I don't know. There's one or two I'm going to kind of get in contact with. Definitely a couple of those that were agreed to actually come on today's show, but we weren't able to arrange. So there we go. That's the update, really. That we're just not able to do today's show. I'm now going to get off because I've got a lot of work to do to try and get ready for tomorrow. But Into the Blue Mister, thank you so much indeed for watching Into the Blue Mister. Yeah, missing the Avengers poster is there. And Leanne D, good morning. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time as you come over for Thor Bubble. So there we go. And that's us. Again, apologies for not being able to do a show for today, but we will be back on Wednesday for a midweek show, catching up and finding out how it went at MCM Comic Con, and also discussing any other updates that are coming down the pipe. Because as we have seen in the previous weeks, I go online, do a live stream, and then just as I'm wrapping up, some news drops. So I'd like to talk about the Comic Con Museum and their recent Wonder Woman enrollment into their role of heroes at the museum. So I'd like to talk about that. I'd like to talk about... I'm also waiting on a reply from Comic Con International, because there's something that Dan Berry spotted. I think Dan may be watching right now. Dan Berry brought something to my attention that was posted on a pretty reputable news website in the US, which had a very big bomb drop about an upcoming event. I would like to know more, and I'd like to hear from Comic Con International. So there we go. Liam D, Dune. Well, I can talk about Dune really quickly. I went to see Dune on Thursday. I went to see it at the White Rose shopping centre in Leeds, which is an IMAX screen. So I knew the sound was going to be great. I knew the picture was going to be great. Massive screen. So I knew it was going to be well worth checking out. I did do a Periscope or a live stream on the Thursday evening. So if you want to check out my thoughts on the film, a little bit more expansive, but certainly I can give you my pocket review right now. Very, very impressive. I think it is absolutely the Dune film that we wanted as long-term fans. There's one or two niggles in the cold light of day. Yes, there's this whole thing with artistic directors that the future is cold and grey and grim and grey and black and minimalist and grey. There isn't so much of the opulence. I put something up online, which I'd still stand behind, that the Atreides, that the Harkonnens, the great houses of the Landstrad, they are the 1% of the 1%. They are the uber rich. And there was none of that opulence that was being... at the end of the day, that's the reason why the Emperor does what he does for Atreides. He's wanting to get rid of someone who has gotten even more power than they feel they really should have. At the end of the day, it would have been great to have seen a little bit more pomp and circumstance on screen. Apparently there was a banquet scene that was cut. Whatever. So there's all that kind of like minimalist grey block thing going on. I would like to have seen a little bit more flamboyance. At least that's what you got with David Lynch's Dune, and I'd like to have seen a little bit more of that creep in there somewhere. It would also really rammed home the whole aspect of the Fremen and also the indigenous peoples of Arrakis, that they are very much the oppressed. They are the lowest tier. They are pushed down. They are constantly being dismissed. And it would have been great to have had a bit more of that. So that was my thought on it. But sound design was amazing. Production design was amazing. The sense of scale and epic scope was incredible. The actors were all on top form. Everyone was just on fire. Would like to have a couple. I think if I'm going to, I kind of talk about the opulence, but also I think for myself the one big issue with the film is the fact that it was almost dumbed down for a mainstream audience. There's so much stuff in Dune, and this is a 3.5-hour film. For the first half of the book, they could have expanded a little bit more. They could have gone more into the mentats, and the reason why there's mentats. There was a machine war. The artificial intelligence robots, basically, the humans slapped the Terminators down, and they don't want that to happen again, and which is why you have human computers. You have the mentats. They could have done more about the spice, the effects on the guild navigators. It ended up being more about the Emperor versus the Atreides. At the end of the day, there's a lot more people and players going on about that. Real well done, Leanne. You've suckered Leonard into an hour's review. Okay, it's right, fine. For a fan of the book, I give it a very strong 8/9. For everyone else, if you are unfamiliar with the book and you came into it, you might get a little bit blindsided by some of the stuff you're seeing. So I give it a strong 6/7. But it's still an epic film, and it needs to be seen onto a big screen. So there we go. Leanne D, I saw it too. It was gorgeous. Yeah, we've got Andrew, who's joined. Hello, all from London. Just back from the first 3-day con, and my body doesn't know what happened. Apparently, he's taken a load of pictures of cosplayers. So looking forward to seeing what he's done and taken off this particular weekend. I did have a message from Mark Serby and Joel Meadows, who both went to MCM, and they have said that it is not as busy. It doesn't feel as rammed as it has been in previous years. Now, at the end of the day, that could be down to just general anxiety of an audience, but also could be down to Repop pulling back on the numbers of tickets that they sold. They said they were going to do it. So how that has affected the tone of it. I mean, then again, we've had some great pieces of stuff coming out of social media. That video of Tom Hiddleston surprising a crowd of cosplayers on stage, that's not going to get, that's going to go on loop for quite some time. And I wouldn't mind actually logging into the live streams, the virtual tickets, so I can actually see some of those panels and see how they went. But there we go. All right, I'm out. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Hope you appreciate that every once in a while we have to take a little bit step back. If you are a Patreon supporter, check your messages, because I have just sent something out to you guys. So do check your inbox and try and get a reply back to me as soon as you can, because the sooner you get the replies in, the sooner I can start getting some stuff out to you. Other than that, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. Hopefully you can join us on Wednesday, the 27th, for episode 5, are we at? Of Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. A bit of a recap of MCM Comic Con London 2021. We'll see you soon. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.